I'm home.
Hello and welcome to WNHH-FM's Dateline New Haven. I'm your host, Paul Bass, inviting you to look behind the headlines on the stories that make the Elm City tick. Angel Cadena is looking to make New Haven tick. He's running for Congress as a Republican against Democratic incumbent Rosa DeLauro. He has stopped by the WNHH studio to tell us the latest from the campaign trail. Welcome, Mr. Cadena. So nice to have you back. It's been 2 years.
Thank you. It's changed a lot in here. You've done a very great job.
Harry Drost, our station manager, he is the miracle man. He has brought us a century ahead in 2 years. And how about your 2 years? What's it been like since your last run for Congress?
Oh, it's been very, very relaxing. Just taking it easy. No, it's been very hectic. You know, we're trying to get our name out there, voice out there. I haven't been,
And I'm asking you to get close to the mic. So
okay, how's that?
That's excellent.
So we've been doing all right.
So you say it's they get the name. I remember last time when you ran, Angel, you didn't get much support from the Republican Party. That all over the country, in a majority of congressional races, the two parties decide that one incumbent has it locked up. They gather all the money after 1 year in from all the special interests, and no one could touch them. And they also do constituent service to get very popular. People hate Congress and tend to love their congressperson. That's a truism about American politics. So you're out there kind of on your own. Your state party's not giving you help. You beat last time she beat you 69 to 31%.
Yeah, if you don't look at the percent, if you look at the raw numbers, I did get more votes against her than anybody.
Whoever ran against her?
Yes. So
even the first two races with Tom Scott?
Yes. So
how could that be? Tom Scott was within 1 point of winning.
Yeah, but back then they didn't. Not too many people voted. Right after that election, she got a huge bump in voters.
And plus 2016 was the presidential election.
Yes.
High turnout.
Yep.
So what made you want to run again when the Republicans weren't going to be at your back?
Well, I don't feel like giving up. It looked like she wasn't going to have anybody challenging her. I didn't want to run unopposed, and I feel that even though I'm probably the longest shot in the country, that
I wouldn't say that. There's this guy who's like with the Nazi party.
Oh yeah, there's some that real way out there. But
why was it important to you that Rosa DeLauro not run unopposed?
It's not healthy for our democracy to allow something like that to happen. We always need a choice, a voice, and a way to get our message out. Some people feel the country at the time wasn't going in the right direction. So it's people like myself, that stand up and we put ourselves out there to make sure that it goes in the correct direction.
So have you debated Rosa DeLauro?
No, I have not.
Are you gonna?
According to the people I've asked to, no.
Okay. But you're getting your message out by going. Do you go into public events?
Go to public events.
Press releases.
Press releases. I talk to people on the streets. I have volunteers that go. They speak to people on my behalf.
So you don't have any like polling firms on. So you don't have any like videos being made by $1 million company, contracts like
none
that.
Of that.
But you're not buying prime time on WTNH.
None of that.
But you did release a video.
Yes, I did.
Did you make that yourself?
Yes, I did.
It was animation.
That was animation. I found a program online. I was just toying around with it.
I couldn't find it though. It was just in the Hartford Current article where I had to pay to view it.
Oh no, it's on my my political Facebook page, Angel Cadena.
Okay, put it on Facebook because I couldn't find it on your campaign page. But and so in that one, you were kind of poking fun at Rosa, poking fun at your own state chairman. Tell me about that.
Well, I was poking fun.
Why did you put together a cartoon?
Well, I was poking. I took a bunch of stereotypes and politically incorrect the satire, and I poked fun at Rosa. I poked fun at Blumenthal. I poked fun at Murphy, Senator Elizabeth Warren.
And what was the thrust? What was the point?
the point was just to let people know that we see I can still see the humor in what's happening around us, politically, and that it's some of it's ridiculous. So I was just blowing it out of proportion. It worked out great. It did exactly what I intended it to do.
What did it do?
It got me some interviews. It got my name out there. Some people were trying to say it was controversial, but most of the people liked it. They understood what I was getting, what I was going.
So, Angel, first point was you felt you needed to run because somebody should run against the incumbent. We should not have unopposed elections, in your opinion, in a democracy.
Correct.
What is message number 2? Why should people vote for you rather than Rosa DeLauro?
Well, she's been in office 28 years. I call her the politician that introduces everything but gets nothing passed. She hasn't passed any substantial legislation.
I mean, she often works in a coalition, so when they were in the majority, first of all, she has a lot of say when they negotiate about what's in the budget.
But you got to understand, a lot of times, we have we'll have a Republican president or we'll have a Republican Senate, and she hasn't been
House. There's a Republican House right now,
or and the House. But I'm saying that at certain points in time when you're in a state like Connecticut, a blue state, you need representation on the other side. At the federal level in order to get things accomplished. That's why we're that's one of the reasons Connecticut is falling behind.
So your argument is that if we had a Republican there, you can get more bills passed.
Correct.
And
at least one.
So does that mean that if there were a Democratic president, a Democratic president, we should not be electing Republicans?
Not that we shouldn't, but there should be at least a mix. If we took away the congressional lines in Connecticut and broke it down, statistically, Republicans should at least have 2 seats, out of the 5.
Actually, neither party should have much because we have around 900,000 wonder, the high 800s unaffiliated.
But
high 700s Democrat, 500s Republican.
Yes, but since nobody's running unaffiliated.
So if you feel that way, right, I'm going to give you a catch a trap type question. How do you feel about what Republicans have done redistricting in the South, where you have African Americans are close to half the population?
Gerrymandering's bad all over the place. We need to come up with a different system.
What would be the system?
I was thinking maybe they tried something similar in California at the state level, where they allow people to vote for the first 2 or 3. People that.
Well, that's separate from gerrymandering. So that's one issue is how you draw the districts.
How you
and then I think you're talking about proportional representation or instant runoff, where you don't vote by party. You could have 2 Republicans.
That's
first and second.
That's also that's also not practical.
Well, it's sort of a pointy-headed pundit type guy. I love that system.
Yeah.
I love instant runoff because then the parties aren't really telling you who the candidates are. You really get to choose people, and it's not lesser of 2 evils. I like the runoff. I don't think there's a problem if the Republicans are number 1 or 2, or the Democrats. I think that way in each round you pick the people you like.
Well, then you start moving away from a republic and more into like a strict democratic form of government, which is not desirable because it always leads to a form of tyranny.
So, would you think there should be bulwarks in a system so you're not just having a pure majority vote on every step you take?
Correct.
That you have some kind of protections for the minority.
Yes.
All right. You're hearing from Angel Cadena, who is the Republican running for U.S. Congress in the 3rd Congressional District. That's us, folks, New Haven, Connecticut. And he's running against Rosa DeLauro, taking on one of the most popular and established representatives in Congress. She's going for her 15th 2-year term. The Republicans weren't putting anyone up, and Angel Cadena said, I'm running, folks. There's going to be a race. You are a truck driver still?
Yes.
You still work 12 to 14 hours a day?
14 to 16, yes.
Whoa. So how do you have time to campaign?
Mostly it's on social media in between stops.
Give me an example between stop. Tell me what you did between a stop this week and where you were.
Well, I was online listening to your show yesterday with Rosa DeLauro.
Thank you. What were you doing? Driving?
Yeah, I was delivering.
I hope we didn't get you in an accident.
No.
Okay,
No. I pulled over in between stops. I had to drop some stuff, and I was in New Jersey yesterday.
Where in New Jersey?
Oh boy,
not Lodi, was it? Because that would make you'd have a soundtrack if it was Lodi.
No.
Oh, where was it? Stuck in Lodi again. Where were you in New Jersey?
I was in. I want to say I don't remember. I don't recall.
South, north,
south.
Oh, you're South Jersey. You're like Springsteen country.
Yes.
All right, and where were you dropping off? What were you dropping off?
Just at some grocery stores. Got to keep the people fed.
So what were you dropping off at the grocery stores?
Groceries.
Or what kind of?
Like
what were you trucking?
I want to say produce. mostly produce.
So, like, who was the client?
We had different clients. We have like Met Foods, Key Foods, and stuff like that.
So you were making a wholesale grocery delivery to a store in South Jersey.
Yeah, dropping off the food that they put on the shelves.
And it was supermarket.
Supermarket.
And so you pulled over. You were listening to the show. And what'd you do at the campaign stop?
Well, I shared it and got other people to watch it so they could make sure they pay attention. I want them to pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
And just listen.
That's since you wanted people to hear your opponent.
Yes.
That's kind of interesting. You wanted to give her free publicity.
Yeah. Why not?
And why?
They're not going to vote for her anyway. I want them to see the stark contrast of somebody who's been in office for 30 years and who has that political dominance and how
you want people paying attention.
Of course.
All right, that's kind of interesting. And then, so how long you been? You say you've been working since you're 8 years old. What were you doing at 8 years old?
I was selling chiclets in Chicago, the little gum.
I remember those.
Yeah, I used to go around.
I can't believe we used to eat stuff like that.
Oh, people still do.
Yeah, I mean, like as grown-ups. I mean, like I remember as a kid eating all that kind of stuff. I'm still paying for it with my teeth.
They used to buy them like fire. I used to net at least between $65 and $100 a day.
Really?
At 8 years old. Yep.
Whoa.
Yep.
That was real money back then.
That was.
It was like 30 years ago.
Yep.
Matter of fact, that's right when Rosa DeLauro was starting Congress. Yep. You were 8 years old selling chiclets.
Selling chiclets in restaurants.
And now, was that your own gig, or were you working for somebody?
Well, my brother, he was a few years older than me. We used to go from like bar to bar, restaurant to restaurant, and sell them 25 cents.
But I mean, did he buy them in bulk and resell them? Was it a self-employed thing?
Yeah, it was a self-employed thing. We used to buy it. We used to buy them. They used to cost about $4 a package. We used to get about $15 out of the box, and then we just keep doing that over.
Where did you buy the wholesale?
There was a place downtown near the
Chicago
docks in Chicago. They used to sell them in bulk. We should either, when we had enough money, we'd buy a whole box full of them. But if not, the local grocery store sold them.
Which part of Chicago was that?
South Side in Little Village.
Wow, you come from Obama country.
No, I come from my country. he just happened to waltz in there.
So now you've been a truck driver. That's a lot of work. I always wonder about truck drivers. There's so many. And now you're an independent trucker, right?
No, I work for JB Hunt.
Who?
JB Hunt.
Who are they? Oh, I've seen their trucks.
Yeah, the yellow.
And how long you been with them?
I want to say about 6 months now.
But before that, were you independent?
No, I've always worked for a company.
But you're an independent contractor, or no?
No.
They give you salary and benefits?
It's on miles and stops and benefits.
Is that a good system? Because obviously we always hear that you're getting ripped off that way.
No. The ones
like
the ones who get ripped off are the ones who usually work at like docks, like port of entries and stuff. Those are the people that usually get ripped off.
And so do you? But if you're paid by the mile, what happens if you're in a traffic jam? Do you just eat that hour?
Yeah.
So how could that even be legal? You're getting paid under the minimum wage then. That's why I'm wondering if you're an independent contractor for them.
Well, if you break it down, we really don't fall under minimum wage. We make a pretty decent living, and because the economy is going up and truck drivers are getting very, very scarce, they keep giving us raises to keep us from.
So you're saying liberals don't feel sorry for me? I'll drive my 14, 16 hours. I'm just fine.
Yes.
Hit a traffic jam. I'll be fine.
I'll be fine.
I don't have federal protected minimum wage. I won't be fine.
Just don't cut me off.
All right. Okay. Why don't we get this up? And you live in Shelton, right?
Yes.
How are things in the valley?
Fantastic.
Are you in like the hoity-toity part of Shelton, the corporate part?
No, I live in the downtown near all the bars and stuff.
You sell them chiclets, but that was old days.
Yeah, I can't pull that off anymore. I used to get
you have
the
to be
sad.
Cute, you have to be. A cute
yeah, you got to get the sad, cute face on. And be like, ¿quieres comprar chiclets? 4 por 1. People throw money at you.
All right, now you're hoping they're going to throw votes.
Yes.
So let's talk about you and Rose DeLauro. Sure are a contrast.
Oh,
I think
definitely.
We're about to find out. So let's start with the last week of the shootings in Pittsburgh and the pipe bombs sent to opponents of President Trump.
Okay.
Rose DeLauro says he did not commit those acts. So you can't say he committed those acts or told anyone to do it, but that he's responsible for taking a lead in creating an atmosphere of hate that he continues even while this stuff is going on, blaming the Democrats for the bombs, giving the list of targets that people go after. On the weekend, still attacking George Soros and refugees who what got this guy going. Is she right? Is Donald Trump contributing to an atmosphere of hate? Is that part of why we're seeing an increase in anti-Semitic incidents and these kind of attacks?
No, well, first of all, those are two completely separate incidents. One was perpetrated by somebody who claims to be a Trump supporter, mailing dud bombs on his behalf.
Well, I don't think he said he was doing his behalf. He was a Trump supporter just by his.
No, but I'm saying, if you put yourself in his mindset, he probably felt that, if he mailed these packages that, weren't going to explode, but to scare the opponents of Donald Trump, in his mind, he thought he was doing the right thing. You can't attribute that to President Trump. That's not, that's like me telling you that you're responsible for somebody getting into a car accident outside your building. It doesn't make any sense.
Or somebody who follows someone on the other side who does not call for violence, but then commits violence.
Everybody's calling for violence.
I get that point, Angel. What about the overall atmosphere? There's no question that Donald Trump does daily attack people in a way that we did not used to see from a president.
Well, it's because he's being attacked, and he's doing that.
Well, he wasn't attacked by immigrants. He attacks immigrants on a daily basis.
He understands where the country is not producing efficiencies. So if you look at the immigration, angle of things, back in 1986, we were supposed to secure the border. The last time we gave amnesty, we were supposed to make sure that we didn't create incentives for people to want to come here, that we were supposed to, secure ourselves and to, bring in people, at a steady rate so we could assimilate them properly, so they could become part of, productive parts of society, not having a free-for-all, just streaming across the border. And the president understands that. So,
but why are the issue calling them rapists and muggers and thieves?
He didn't call them all. He said there's some,
He said in this caravan, without any evidence by his own admission, that there were people from the Middle East, there were murderers, all this kind of stuff, rapists. There was no evidence of that.
Well, there's no evidence that there isn't, because.
But you can't prove a negative. I mean, that's like saying.
Yeah, but you can't.
That's like saying. No, I
don't
want to make this personal. You can't say, Joe, your family is full of rapists and murderers. Well, I don't have any evidence, but you can't prove that's not true. That's not. You think that's a legitimate way?
Yeah, it's not a legitimate excuse, but the point he's getting at is that these, we need to secure our borders. And my thing is, yes, I support a border wall, but I want it to be more of a symbol of our, of our sovereignty. Like the Great Wall of China is in China. No, it's no longer keeping out Mongols, but it's there. It shows.
Well, do you think this caravan's a risk? Do you agree with him about dispatching troops?
To slow down the stream of people flowing across our borders that are not being.
Well, they're
properly
900
protected.
miles away, and they're planning to check in and apply for asylum. You think we need army for that?
They're not all going to apply for asylum because they all don't qualify. They just want to come. They see America as a land of opportunity, which is great. But they're cutting line. They're cutting the line of all the people that.
So do we need the army? Are they a threat to you and me?
Well, if they flood across the border and there's not enough border patrol to stop them and check them in properly, we just can't have let people just run across our border.
So do you think Rosador is wrong that he's doing this at the election time to whip up the base? They're months. They're 900 miles away. They're not coming. If you want
to look at it as a political stunt, then fine. It is what it is. But overall, we have to.
But do you support it? Do you support what he's doing about this caravan? Talking about it, sending troops. Do you think you don't think he's waking up?
We need a secure border. That's the overall point. We need a secure border, and because they failed in 1986, with Chuck Schumer when he was in in Congress and he was trying to, get the amnesty through, and they gave us a half-assed border wall. A fence that deteriorated almost immediately, wasted all that money when it could have been built properly, and we could have had, proper things in place to keep people from wanting to come here, illegally like that. Then, it's
so Rosa DeLauro says she supports the last bipartisan effort. Republicans and Democrats a few years ago had a bill, McCain and others, and Democrats, to have strengthen border protection. Easier way to streamline the process to become a citizen if you get in line.
Yeah, well, the border protection that they were proponents of was to like electronic surveillance and things like that. We need a physical barrier that you get overflooded with so many people.
Well, the bill included more border security.
Yeah.
So you're against that bill because you say it didn't have enough.
It didn't have enough. It didn't have enough of a physical border.
Okay. And then also coming out of the shootings was, and by the way, so you're saying Donald Trump in general, you do not believe has ratcheted up the kind of atmosphere of personal attack and hate.
No, it's been going on constantly. You know.
But is he playing a role in that or not? You think he has any blood on his hands?
If you don't play a role in it, then things get out. Things really get out of hand, and he's stating his stance on things, and he's standing to it. And,
making fun of what women look like and things like that. That's okay.
Well, that's a little off the cuff, but that's Donald Trump. He's been you got to understand, if you take a look back of where he's come from, he's never really had to answer to anybody. He could just shoot insults at anybody.
But how do you feel about that? The president doing that?
He's getting a lot better. He slipped up a couple times, but he's getting a lot better.
And on guns, I know you and Rose DeLauro feel very differently about this. Have you been endorsed by the NRA?
No, I've been endorsed by the CCDL.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so when she's looking at these gun incidents, she's saying, because this guy bought guns legally, who shot up the Pittsburgh.
That's not the problem in this country. Guns are not the problem in this country. It's the way I explain it to people. In a free society, you have your civilization. If you have it you look at it like a bubble, like civilization, and we have our freedoms, and our constitutional republic is trying to get us as close to the state of nature and freedom while still having laws to protect us. What happens is people, they remove themselves for whatever reason, whether they have hate, whether they want to, maim people, whether they want to, whatever they want, whatever their personal feelings are, they want to remove themselves from our civilization and return to a state of, like nature, to attack people. And they do it, they bring weapons with them. And it's up to us as a society to keep it healthy, to be able to, follow that person and, confront them and keep them from totally dismantling society. So that's what keeps society healthy. We need the Second Amendment to keep society healthy. And
so three specific positions Rose DeLauro takes is that we should have universal background checks.
That's pretty much already established.
No fly list. That if you can't be on a fly list because you're dangerous, shouldn't be legally allowed to have weapons.
The thing with that is there's no how do you say, oversight on the no-fly list, so anybody could arbitrarily be added to that, and that's why that is unconstitutional.
So is it a bigger risk that someone won't be able to get a gun who should legally have it, or is there a bigger risk that somebody that they've caught on that no-fly list shouldn't be able to go have weapons?
It's the first one.
Okay. And then she also said we should ban assault weapons and high-capacity magazines. And they used the high-capacity right in Newtown, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know as much guns as you do. He had an assault rifle in Pittsburgh.
Well, like I was saying earlier, if you don't have somebody able and willing to confront people that lose it, society falls apart.
So you're saying taking the guns away isn't going to stop it?
It's not going to stop it, because there's some, at
well, what if this guy didn't have an assault rifle? Would he have killed as many people?
Matter. It does not matter the type of weapon. It's what's in the individual.
Well, some of the weapons can fire so many guns, so many bullets so fast, like in Newtown.
That's not the key, though. It's if the person is willing to do the firing. We need individuals willing to stop them. Mm-hmm. That's the whole point of it. You can't. It's out of if weapons are really a big problem. There's over 100 million armed citizens in America. The number of people dying by weapons would be astronomical, and it's not. It's not as bad as the media makes it out to be. We are a lot safer now than any other point in human history, and it's because of weapons.
Should our synagogue have a armed guard at the door every Saturday?
No, they don't have to have an armed guard, but there should be. If there's congregants, people that are willing to be concealed, carry on themselves, and they're willing to step out and put themselves in that position to protect the others, who are we to stop them? We should not, it's a free society. We should not be trying to stop them.
Rob Clark says, get rid of Rosa. And Harry says, most criminals don't go out of their way to follow gun laws. We do go out of our way to remind you that you're listening to Dateline New Haven, 103.5 FM, live stream, New Haven in Pandora. We're talking to Angel Cadena, the guy who has the cojones to take on an established Democrat who has a lot of support and a lot of money and a party behind her. How much money do you have?
Left, I have like I want to say like $200.
How much did you start with?
About 500.
How many chiclets could you, maybe you should invest in that?
Yeah, I probably should have.
But you're right, you don't have the cute face anymore.
Yeah,
oh boy.
Well,
yeah.
I kind of do it. It's this side of my face.
And Silvana Apicello gives you a thumbs up, Angel.
Sweet.
Okay, so I want to be a smart guy, liberal interviewer, and set a trap for you. You
Okay,
ready?
set the trap.
You guys in the Republican Party, I guess I can say you guys, that's how Harry and I talk to each other. The Republican Party has been approving a lot of judges who are strict constitutionalists. And that means they say we should go to what literally the Constitution says, and we've understood it to mean a long time. Don't mess with that. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
That's my trap. Okay. Yesterday, Donald Trump said he wants to change the 14th Amendment and not allow people who are born in this country to be citizens automatically by birth. Do you agree with that?
He's not changing the 14th Amendment. It would be properly established. When the 14th Amendment was written, they put a phrase in there that said that the people that were given citizenship had to be under the jurisdiction of America.
Meaning that America could arrest them if they commit a crime or something like that.
No, that they had allegiance to America. That whoever was, like,
where does allegiance come in?
The person who wrote that phrase into the 14th Amendment gave a big speech on it, on that it was for people who had jurisdiction, that they had allegiance to the America.
That's an argument he might be making for it, but the word is allegiance. I mean, not words allegiance. The word's jurisdiction. So you can have jurisdiction over someone who doesn't swear allegiance to you. Like if I say, for instance, if I say I don't respect the laws of this country, I don't believe this. I'm saying, like, if one were to say that and say I'm not going to follow your laws, you still have jurisdiction over that person as a government to arrest them.
Yeah, but back when this was written, it was not as specific. What the overall point they're trying to do with the 14th Amendment was to give citizenship to the children of slaves, of former slaves when they got rid of slavery. That's what the 14th. It wasn't a free for all. It wasn't like to give people the ability to have children, come here, cross our borders, have children.
So are the Republicans, all the Republican lawyers who've been quoted, all the Republican elected officials like Paul Ryan.
They've been enforcing the 14th Amendment incorrectly for the past 40 years.
Pretty much all the Republicans are wrong.
Yes.
Office holders and others saying that Donald Trump can't do this constitutionally.
Correct.
Okay. Rob Clark says presidents do not. Rob Clark said, is it okay for the same guy to kill in Pittsburgh either with a rifle or a big truck? It's the individual. Rob Clark, presidents do not have the authority to repeal amendments. So Rob Clark's not with you on that one. Yeah. You're saying he's not repealing it.
He's not repealing it.
Harry, of course, agrees with you. He says all persons born or naturalized in the U.S. and subject to jurisdiction are citizens and of the state within they reside. No state shall make or enforce any law that shall abridge the privileges, not temporary jurisdiction. Okay. So
what I would like, if it was me making the decisions, I would like to, offer up the citizenship of people who don't like America, who already live here, and swap it for people who want to be here and want
you get
to,
the whole caravan then.
Yes, I'll take the whole caravan if I could swap it out one for one for people who say they hate America and want to move out.
That's interesting.
I would do that.
Harry, you don't have jurisdiction over someone coming to have a baby while on vacation. Okay. So Obamacare, otherwise known as the Affordable Care Act. So like in Kentucky, they love the Affordable Care Act, hate Obamacare.
Yes.
Republicans want to repeal it. Trump administration's in court this week trying to get rid of all the terms, including protections on covering pre-existing conditions. Rosa DeLauro says we should not only keep it the law, we should fund it better and expand Medicare to cover dental and vision. What's your take on that?
Well, first off, everything to do on the monetary side of our government is completely inefficient. So we have to first make everything make it as efficient as possible in order to see where we're losing most of our money. A lot of our money's lost towards, through the bureaucracies, through,
Have you ever dealt with a private insurance company?
I'm sorry?
Have you ever dealt with private insurance companies?
Yes, I have.
I think those are the most inefficient, frustrating.
Well, that's because they're dealing. That's because they're dealing with, with the government part of things. And
I agree. That's part of the paperwork. Part of it is they
have to deal with all that.
But they also pay less in order to make profit for people who can help you get what you need. and they build in incentives to deny you the stuff you could otherwise get.
Well, that's one of the main problems with our healthcare system today. We do not have prices. We don't understand what things cost when we go to get them.
So why do we need to have a profit motive in insurance? Why should they have an incentive to not give you the health care you're entitled to so they can make more money?
Richard Nixon signed that stuff into law back in the 70s, which made it a thing for profit, and which allowed.
Was he right?
No, he ruined.
He also, but Richard Nixon did create the Environmental Protection Agency and supported universal basic income.
Well, the clock would be right twice a day, But
so Obamacare, do you want to keep funding it? Do you want to kill it?
No, I want. You can't just outright kill it, because then you'll throw a big monkey wrench in how everything's operating right now. You have to bring it back. First, we have to make the government more efficient. That's the first step. We got to fix the foundation before we rebuild the house.
Mm-hmm.
So
but you would keep this government healthcare system in place for people
for now, so we could dismantle it properly.
So you do want to dismantle it, but
it has to be properly. It has to.
And does that include? Do you think the government should insist that your pre-existing conditions are covered, or how?
Of course, that's what the healthcare. That's the whole reason for healthcare is something's broken. I need to go here and get it fixed.
So how would you fix the ACA in the short term?
Well, in the short term, what I would do is consolidate all, like Medicare, Medicaid, all the public assistance programs, consolidate it into one governmental agency. And, if it has to do with your body, it's going to be covered. The way they break things up, through vision, dental, and parse out your body, to different organizations, that's very inefficient. Doesn't make any sense. We're one body. We should have one body. One set of rules, and have things work.
So before you would want to repeal the ACA eventually, but you would want to keep pre-existing conditions covered in the short term, make government more efficient, and by combine all the agencies that deal with
combine them all, and then make sure that the payments are you're able to see the payments. You know how much stuff's going to cost. You're able to shop around.
Understandable bills and
yes, make everything simpler, and then we could start dismantling the Obamacare.
It's an interesting argument on the other side, where I tend to be sympathetic, which is single-payer health care. It's said that if you tried to do that tomorrow, you'd have a similar problem with more than 50% of the country getting health care through their employers. If you just eliminated that right away, there would be huge chaos.
Yeah, that's why I said we have to do it slowly, methodically, without harming.
I wonder if we should have two nations. I wonder if blue states should have one large compact with single payer, because it's really too much for one state on its own to take on, and all the red states can just turn down Medicaid money and just go completely to the private market.
Well, I guess that's a radical idea on your behalf.
Do you like it? Or basically, if there's fundamental disagreement in this country, we're so fundamentally divided in how to do healthcare, why don't we just split it in half that way?
Because then we would, I don't know. Because not everybody's a Republican or Democrat in each state.
That's true.
It's mostly purple. So,
but they are.
It would have to be done by individuals.
But you have all these states where they're electing people, like in Kansas and in Tennessee, who, well, not Tennessee as much. You're right.
Once they feel the negative effects of that, they'll probably just switch and vote for the other person.
So you're saying what happens if they change year to year?
Yeah.
Christina Nani Royden gives you a thumbs up, Angel. What about paid family leave? Rosa wants the government to require employers to do that.
Employers that are large enough, it should not be a problem for them. It's a smaller, employers.
So you'd have an exemption. I think there always are exemptions. Those laws for under 50 people.
Yeah, 50's probably.
But you'd be all right for government rule that employers have to.
Well, yeah, sometimes I have children. I know how it is. When a person gives birth, they need time to bond with that child and to get.
But people in your party tend to believe or do argue that that's an unfunded mandate, that's stepping in with private enterprise, that makes places run not as efficiently, that's the wrong way to do it.
Yeah, it sometimes it creates the wrong incentive, but I don't see a problem. I don't see a problem.
So you favor that?
I favor that.
What about increasing the minimum wage?
That's a bunch of malarkey, because you increase the minimum wage now, and then cost of living goes up, and then a few years down the road, the minimum wage is not enough.
Mm-hmm.
So it has to flow naturally like water. Through society. The way I want to do that, I want to make the way our money runs as efficient as possible. So say you worked for me, the moment you're done with that work for that day, the money would automatically be given to you. You'll be able to pay your bills on a day-to-day basis instead of having to wait 1 to 2 weeks.
So how do you feel about payday lending as a way to fill that gap?
That will disappear. That because you would be getting paid day to day.
That was another wise guy liberal trap because you're the Republican gubernatorial
candidate. He worked for them, but from my understanding of what he told me is that he went there to fix it.
That's his line. Yeah. And Bob Clark says need a viable third party. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I have no problem with that.
But you're a Republican. You feel pretty comfortable with Republican Party.
Yeah, I feel pretty comfortable with Republican Party, but even as a Republican, my beliefs are that things need to be challenged constantly.
So you like having more democracy?
Yeah.
Or Bob Stefanowski's the Republican candidate for governor. Oz Griebel's the third party candidate. Do you have a favorite there?
Oh yeah, I like Bob. He's awesome.
All right.
We've done some events together. He's very coherent on what he wants to do to fix the out of control tax spending in the state in order to bring the state back. So
I'm not letting you drink your tea. I'll give you a break here and just remind people that they're listening to Dateline New Haven on WNHH FM, your home for community radio, 103.5, live streamed at newhavenindependent.org. So let me, in addition, I talked about where you disagree with Rosa DeLauro. When she was on yesterday, she thought that she was open to looking at a proposal you have. It's kind of interesting in this campaign. You actually emphasize it on your website. So you want to build a bridge over Long Island Sound.
Yes,
I-91 to Long Island.
Definitely. I'm stuck in that traffic on I-95, that corridor, that bottleneck every day. And, it needs an outlet. You got the rate of growth, of civilization. It's going to grow exponentially. We got to start planning ahead for, a larger population.
So that would cost tons of money.
Yeah. But when the money is invested in workers and people, it goes right back into the community.
So where's the money going to come from to build that bridge? Are you for taxes going up to pay for it? Tolls?
No, not tolls, but it'll be like a private public endeavor together.
So would you have a private company build and own the bridge?
Yes,
because you're from Chicago.
They do that out there. Yeah.
That was a disaster in Chicago.
Well, that's because they let them run away with like outrageous tolls on the bridge and stuff like that.
Well, the only way a private company,
they can make a profit, but you can't let them run. You can't let them run wild with it.
So you're arguing that if you regulate strongly and keep the profits reasonable,
yes,
you don't feel it would cost more than it would otherwise cost, or that people will get ripped off with tolls.
Yes.
Okay. So you'd like to see a private company build that bridge?
Yes, I'd like to see them take a huge part in it, and it would be, it would work out great. If you look at a map, you could pretty much draw a straight line from Boston to DC, and if you had a bridge across the Sound around I-91 going south, it'll be a beautiful thing.
Well, so going to Long Island, that doesn't really affect that traffic, does it?
No, but it creates a nice circle, nice loops, to ease everybody that's heading in towards New York.
Now you use the term, talk about loops. I don't understand. You would also couple the plan with a futuristic hyperloop.
The hyperloop.
Carter, what is that?
The hyperloop. It's still in the testing phases, but it's like a high-speed rail system inside of a tube where they suck all the air out. There's no friction, and you could shoot. Remember
would these be trains?
Yes. Remember the old mail things where the tubes in the wall. And
yeah, pneumatic tubes. It'd be at Harwitz Brothers on Chapel Street. Right?
Yeah, it'd be just like that, but with people. They're doing that. They're finishing up the testing phase on that stuff, and we would be able to get from people from Boston, have a stop in New Haven, New York, Philadelphia, all the way to DC, and they'd be able to get from Boston to DC in a matter of minutes. It'd be revolutionary. It'd be very great for our.
And where's money for that again?
They would be, the money they would eventually collect through the, the people that are going on it and all the commodities that'll be passing through there. I also want to dredge out, along the coast so we could have like huge ships come in.
So you want deeper harbor, which they are doing some of right now. Yeah.
They're doing some of, but I want to step that up.
Promote global shipping.
Global shipping, and have some. So we could go on vacation and stuff.
Okay, I was about to read you a comment that disappeared. Here it is. Silvana Apicella. Ask him how he took down a Democratic group in Chicago. Why don't you get off some tea first, and then I'll repeat the question. So tell me how you took down a Democratic group in Chicago.
Well, that happened very it was almost by mistake. I had like he was like a kind of like a little brother to me, but he was a knucklehead, and he had gotten the daughter of an alderman pregnant.
Mm.
So out there, the aldermen are like little demigods.
Yes.
And so they had the police snatch him up. They took him to like a secret building. They beat him, and they forced him to confess to a murder he didn't commit.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So when I found out about it, I was upset, and so naturally I spoke out and I started writing letters to the media and stuff. But nothing happened. I started getting followed, so I started getting phone calls saying,
"How old are you?"
This was in I want to say 2004. I was in my early 20s. So they were saying they're gonna kill me and that
God.
This and that. So one day they didn't block their number.
Who's they?
It turned out when I traced it back through the computer, it was a new program. It came back to the Hispanic Democratic Organization.
Ooh, so they weren't playing.
No. So it was. So I went to the FBI. They took that number and they told me just to keep. They knew that place was very corrupt, and now that they would be able to tap their phones because of the threat that they gave me. So they a couple years went by and they were able to dismantle that whole organization, and
Yeah.
I played a very tiny part, but it was pivotal.
And now you're here today in Shelton, Connecticut, New Haven, Connecticut, running for Congress.
Yes.
What do you give your chances?
Would I give my chances? 100%.
All right. Well, Angel Cadena, anything you want to say in closing? Thank you so much for coming in here.
I want to thank you very much for.
It's always a pleasure, man. You're a wonderful interview.
Into the middle of, Democrat.
The belly of the beast.
The belly of the beast.
Yeah. Well, you did great. Anything else you'd like to say before we go?
Vote for me.
All right, Angel Cadena, thank you so much for joining us. And thanks everyone for listening. Thanks for your comments, folks. They really help make it a better show. We're going to take it out with the Afro-Semitic Experience, performing I Wish I Knew How It Would Feel to Be Free from the group CD, A Plea for Peace. Now, we know what it's like to be free. We just got to remember to book our flight. Fly free with us all day and all night long here at WNHH, New Haven's home for community radio.